Attention passionate Cleveland, BROWNS. Latest news, something big is happening in the AFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Cleveland Browns' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Cleveland Browns fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Cleveland BROWNS. Let's get to the news. When you think about the Cleveland Browns and their recent trajectory, there's always a sense of anticipation, of hope mixed with a little unpredictability. The Browns, historically, have had their ups and downs, but lately, there's been a real buzz about what this team might achieve in the upcoming seasons. And at the core of that buzz is the quarterback position, always the most talked about, the most scrutinized, and often the most decisive factor in a team's success or failure. This year, though, things feel a little different. It's not just about who will be under center, it's about the implications of that decision for the entire franchise, especially in a division as competitive as the AFC North. Now, to get everyone up to speed, let's first talk about the current situation with the Browns' quarterback roster. As of now, Cleveland has a surprising 5 quarterbacks on their roster, which is quite a lot considering most NFL teams usually carry 3 or 4 at most. The reason for this? The looming return of Deshaun Watson, the star quarterback brought in to lead the Browns into a new era of contention. Watson, for those who have followed his career, is a player with immense talent and a proven track record, but also a complicated history that has added layers of uncertainty and debate among fans and analysts alike. The expectation is that Watson will return sometime during the 2025-26 season, but here's the kicker. It's not entirely clear whether Cleveland plans to rush him back or give him ample time to fully heal and get back into game shape. Watson's injury, an Achilles tear, was a significant blow not just to his career, but to the Browns' plans for the season. Achilles injuries are notoriously tricky for quarterbacks. They require months of recovery and rehabilitation, and there's always the question of whether the player will regain full mobility and confidence. The Browns, wisely, are taking a cautious approach, and given the team's current struggles, yes, they might face some tough times this season. They are likely to be cautious about rushing Watson back into action before he's truly ready. But make no mistake, the organization still views him as their franchise quarterback, the guy who can elevate the team to new heights if he's healthy and playing at his best. One of the biggest questions on every Browns fan's mind right now is, who will be the starting quarterback when the season kicks off? And honestly, this is where things get really interesting. Because, as it stands, it's not just about Watson's eventual return, but about who will be the guy leading the team in Week 1. The reality is, it's very unlikely that Shedeur Sanders, the highly touted rookie, will get the chance to start right out of the gate. Sanders, the son of Hall of Famer Deion Sanders, has been generating a lot of buzz in the draft circles and among fans, thanks to his impressive college production and athletic ability. But NFL teams usually don't throw rookies into the fire immediately, especially at a critical position like quarterback, unless they're absolutely ready. And in Cleveland's case, with a roster that features several veterans and some intriguing developmental prospects, it's more probable that the Browns will look to trade Sanders rather than give him a starting role this early. There have been whispers about potential landing spots for him, and one of the most interesting options that surfaced recently was the Buffalo Bills. Why Buffalo? Well, the Bills already have Josh Allen, one of the most dynamic and talented quarterbacks in the league, firmly entrenched as their starter. Allen is locked in as the franchise guy, and behind him is Mitchell Trubisky, a seasoned veteran who can step in if needed. But what about a young quarterback like Sanders? The Bills' situation could be perfect for him to develop gradually, sitting behind Allen, learning from a veteran coaching staff, and honing his skills without the immediate pressure of leading an NFL team. Think about it. Buffalo's environment is structured, disciplined, and focused on development. Sanders would have the chance to work on his timing, decision-making, and understanding of a complex NFL offense. It's a low-risk, high-reward scenario. He wouldn't be expected to come in and save the day. Instead, he'd learn, grow, and eventually be ready for prime time. For the Browns, though, it's a different story. they need clarity at the quarterback position, especially with training camp happening right now. The Browns' coaching staff, led by Kevin Stefanski, and their front office are under pressure to figure out who will be their guy, or at least the top contenders, sooner rather than later. This is where the latest rumors and insights come into play. Recently, Albert Breer from Sports Illustrated mentioned that Joe Flacco, the veteran quarterback with a long NFL career, could be in the mix for Cleveland. Flacco, with his experience and leadership qualities, could be a steadying presence during this transitional phase. But he's not the only name in the hat. Breer also pointed out that Kenny Pickett, the young Steelers quarterback, and Dylan Gabriel, a promising young signal caller from the University of Oklahoma, are also in the conversation. Pickett, in particular, has been watched closely since he was drafted by the Steelers, and he showed some flashes of potential last season. Gabriel, on the other hand, has impressed with his processing ability and athleticism, which could make him a viable option for Cleveland if they decide to go in a different direction. What makes this situation even more tense is the timing. Training camp is underway, and teams usually want to have their quarterback decisions made early on so they can properly prepare the offense and build chemistry. Cleveland's coaching staff, especially Kevin Stefanski, understands that the earlier they identify who will lead the team, the better their chances of installing the right game plan and building consistency. It's a delicate balancing act, giving younger players enough reps to develop, while also trying to find that veteran presence who can stabilize the team in the short term. And then, of course, there's the strategic element. The Browns' offense is at a crossroads. Do they lean more on a pocket passer like Flacco, who can distribute the ball efficiently and manage the game? Or do they look for a more athletic, mobile quarterback like Pickett or Gabriel, who can extend plays and add a different dimension to their attack? These decisions will shape not only the opening weeks of the season, but also the team's identity moving forward. One thing that's clear is that the Browns are in a critical phase of their rebuilding process. The franchise has invested heavily in their roster, adding key players in free agency, drafting promising prospects, and trying to create a culture of winning. But at the heart of it all remains the quarterback position. It's the engine that drives everything, and right now, Cleveland is trying to figure out who will be the one to steer the ship through what could be a tumultuous season. The stakes are high, not just for this year but for the future of the franchise. The Browns have a talented roster, especially on the defensive side, with stars like Myles Garrett leading the charge. Their offensive line has been bolstered, and there's a lot of potential in their skill players, including Amari Cooper and a young group of receivers eager to make their mark. But without a consistent quarterback, it's hard to see that potential fully realized. Many fans are holding their breath, hoping that the coaching staff makes the right call early on and that the team can avoid the chaos of a quarterback carousel that can derail a season before it even begins. This brings us back to the big picture. What do the Browns need to do to succeed? First, they need clarity and confidence at the QB position. That means making a decision early in camp and sticking with it, giving the chosen player the opportunity to develop chemistry with the offense. Second, they need to balance development with winning. Cleveland is in a window where they can still compete, and the coaching staff must strike that balance carefully. Third, they need their veterans to step up and provide leadership, especially in the locker room and on the field, to stabilize the team during this uncertain period. Looking ahead, the AFC North remains one of the most competitive divisions in football. The Cincinnati Bengals, led by Joe Burrow, are a formidable opponent every year. The Baltimore Ravens, with their dual-threat quarterback Lamar Jackson, always pose a challenge. And of course, the Pittsburgh Steelers, with Mike Tomlin at the helm, are never to be underestimated. The Browns, therefore, need to be strategic, precise, and most importantly, ready to adapt quickly. Their success this season could hinge on how well they manage this quarterback puzzle, how they navigate injuries, and how they execute their game plan on Sundays. In the bigger NFL landscape, the Browns are trying to position themselves as serious contenders once again. They've made moves to improve their roster, but until they find stability under center, there will always be that lingering question about their ceiling. Will they be able to harness the talent around them and turn potential into results? That's the story that's unfolding right now, and every Browns fan should be paying close attention. And just to add some historical context, The Browns have always been a franchise that's passionate, resilient, and hungry for success. From their early days in the All-America Football Conference to their multiple NFL championships before the Super Bowl era, the team's identity has been rooted in fighting spirit. Even during periods of rebuilding, Browns fans have remained loyal, dreaming of that elusive Super Bowl victory that has so far eluded them. The current quarterback situation might be the biggest challenge they face in recent years, but it also represents an opportunity, a chance to finally get it right, to establish a core that can compete for championships for years to come. Looking at the broader NFL picture, teams that find stability at quarterback tend to rise to the top. The Browns know this all too well. The league is increasingly driven by playmakers who can extend plays, make accurate throws under pressure, and lead their teams with confidence. The Browns have some of these pieces in place, but they need a leader at the position who can fully unlock their potential. Whether it's Watson returning after injury, Flacco providing veteran guidance, or one of the younger prospects stepping up, the team's future hinges on that decision. So, Browns fans, what do you think is the best move? Should they gamble on a young guy like Sanders, or should they bring in a veteran to stabilize things? Will Watson recover fully and return to his best form? And how do you see the division shaping up this year? The AFC North is always intense, and this season looks no different. Every team has their story, their hopes, and their fears, but for Cleveland, it all comes back to that one question: who will be leading them when the season begins? The stakes are high, and the clock is ticking. Remember, this is a franchise that's been through a lot but still has that unbreakable spirit. Browns fans are some of the most passionate in the league, and they deserve clarity and success. As the summer progresses, all eyes will be on training camp battles, on the decisions made by the coaching staff, and on the performances of these quarterbacks trying to make their case. The journey to the Super Bowl might be long and challenging, but with the right leadership at quarterback, who knows? Perhaps this could finally be the year the Browns break through and make a real statement. So stay tuned, Browns fans, because the story is still unfolding, and every day brings us closer to uncovering who will be the one to lead Cleveland into what could be a historic season. And remember, no matter what happens, the passion, the loyalty, and the hope of Browns fans are what truly make this team special. Keep that spirit alive, keep believing, and I'll be right here, bringing you all the latest updates, insights, and analysis as things develop. Because at the end of the day, it's not just about the game, it's about the love for this team, this city, and this incredible fan base. And with that, let's get into the detailed breakdown of what's happening behind the scenes, what to expect in training camp, and how the Browns are preparing for what promises to be an exciting, unpredictable season. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Cleveland Browns news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. As we look ahead to the upcoming season, it's impossible not to consider the implications of all these quarterback questions. The Browns are at a crossroads, and the decisions they make in the next few weeks could define their future for years to come. The coaching staff is undoubtedly working tirelessly behind the scenes, evaluating every throw, every decision, and every practice rep to determine who will be their guy. The competition is fierce, and each player has a lot to prove. Flacco, with his veteran savvy, offers stability and experience, especially in high-pressure moments. Kenny Pickett, with his mobility and potential, could bring a different dimension to the offense. Dylan Gabriel, with his quick processing and athletic ability, might be a dark horse candidate to surprise everyone. And then there's Sanders, the young talent with raw potential who still needs to catch up, but has the upside to become something special. The Browns' offensive scheme will also play a significant role in this decision. Will Kevin Stefanski lean more towards a pocket passing approach, or will he incorporate more mobility and improvisation? The answer to that question could tip the scales for who starts and who plays a backup role. For now, the team needs to find that balance, one that maximizes their strengths while minimizing their weaknesses. They want a quarterback who can read defenses quickly, make smart decisions, and extend plays when necessary. That's what separates good teams from great ones, and Cleveland is eager to find that missing piece. In terms of expectations, the Browns are aiming high. They have the talent, the coaching staff, and the infrastructure to make a deep playoff run. But all of that hinges on the quarterback position being solidified early in camp. The early weeks are crucial because they set the tone for the season. If Cleveland can establish a clear starter and build chemistry, they could surprise a lot of people. But if they stumble out of the gate, it could lead to chaos and uncertainty that might linger all season long. It's also worth noting that Cleveland's front office has been aggressive in building this roster. They've added impactful players in free agency, drafted promising prospects, and emphasized a culture of resilience. The fans are optimistic, but they're also realistic. They know that the league is tough, especially in the AFC North, where every game is a battle. That's why the quarterback position is so critical, because it's the catalyst for everything else. A great QB can elevate the entire team, inspire confidence, and help navigate the inevitable challenges that come with a long NFL season. Looking at the broader NFL landscape, the Browns are not alone in facing these quarterback dilemmas. Many teams are in similar situations, trying to find that perfect fit. But Cleveland's situation is unique because of the high expectations and the investment they've made in Watson. If he can return to form, the Browns could suddenly become one of the most dangerous teams in the league. But if he struggles, or if the team falters early, doubts could creep in and the narrative could shift quickly. This season will be a test of patience, resilience, and strategic thinking. Browns fans, you've been through a lot, but you've also shown incredible loyalty and passion. Now more than ever, it's about supporting the team through this transitional phase and trusting that the coaching staff has a plan. The next few weeks will reveal a lot about where this team is headed. Will they find their quarterback? Will they overcome injuries and setbacks? Can they finally get over the hump and make a real playoff push? These are the questions that will be answered in the coming months. As I wrap up this deep dive, I want to remind everyone that the journey is just beginning. The Browns are on the cusp of something potentially special, but it all depends on those decisive moments: training camp battles, game day performances, and the leadership that emerges under pressure. So keep your eyes peeled, stay engaged, and remember, this team's story is still being written. And I'll be here to bring you every twist and turn, every highlight and setback, every moment that could define the Cleveland Browns season. And now, Cleveland Browns fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on all these quarterback rumors? Do you believe Watson will come back stronger than ever? Are you confident in Flacco or Pickett stepping in if needed? Or do you think the Browns should look elsewhere in the market? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Browns. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, analysis, and news, so stay tuned for the latest Cleveland Browns news. We're in this together, and the passion of Browns fans is what keeps this team alive. Let's keep that spirit burning bright as we await what promises to be an unforgettable season.